Right, so in the first video, we found the value of Tn. In this video, we are going to we are busy with 3.1.2, determine the value of n if Sn equals 847. Okay, we mentioned already, and they told us that this is an arithmetic sequence. Because it's a arithmetic, there's certain things that we know, right? There's certain formula that we know apply. We've already used the Tn formula. But when we're dealing with Sn, we know that means the sum of a certain amount of terms. The formula that applies is Sn equals to n divided by 2 open bracket 2a, that's a to a plus open bracket n minus 1 close bracket d, and we close the bigger bracket, right? So this is the other formula that applies when we have an arithmetic sequence. In fact, there's another version of this formula, which was n over 2a plus l. Right, so both of these are the same formula, and what they help us find is Sn, the sum of a certain amount of terms, right? Sn refers to the sum of a certain amount of terms. So we don't have the last term, so we're going to get rid of that formula and we'll use this one. Okay, so let's do our substitution. So we know, or they've given us, that Sn is 847. So that value we're going to take and we're going to put it in Sn's place. Okay, so we're going to say 847 is equal to n. N is what we want to find in this question, n divided by 2. And 2, we know the A we spoke about that in our previous video as well. A refers to our first value. In our case now it is going to be our 7. Then we have plus n is still going to be just the n minus 1, and d, we also spoke about that in the previous video. How do we get d? Second term, so that's going to be number 10 minus first term, the 11. So 10 minus the 7, 10 minus 7 is going to give us a positive 3. Right, so let's do some cleaning up before we can determine the value of n here. So it's going to be 847 equals n over 2. 2 times 7 is going to be 14. Let's multiply this 3 inside our bracket over here. So that's going to be a plus 3n and minus 3. Right, inside our bracket we have like terms. So let's do two things at once. I hope you don't mind. We're going to get rid of this 2, and then let's simplify what's inside the bracket as well. To get rid of that 2, we are going to multiply both sides with 2. So our 847, we're multiplying that with 2, and that gives us 1694. Right, so on the right hand side, the denominator n is gone. We have the 14 minus 3, that's going to give us 11 plus our 3n. Great. Now let's get rid of these brackets over here. So this n, let's multiply him inside. So on my right hand side, I'm going to put the n term first. So I'm going to have 3n squared, and I'm going to have a positive 11n. My left hand side is going to be the 1694. Because we see we have an n squared, right, which is a quadratic. And whenever you have a quadratic, what you want is all your terms on one side equated to 0. So the 1694, let's get that over to our right hand side. We know we are subtracting both sides, so it's going to be minus 1694. Right, 94, that's going to be a 4 over there. Right, that's a 4. Let's maybe just write that again a little bit nicely so we can all clearly see what it is. Plus 1694. Okay, great. That means that there's a 0 on the side. That's a trinomial. In order to solve for n now, we're going to go and use our quadratic formula. So no, it's n that we're finding. So we're not saying x equals, we're saying n equals. Then we'll say minus b plus minus the square root b squared minus 4 ac, all of this divided by 2a. Great, let's do our substitutions. Well, let's mark this for ourselves so that we can clearly see our value. So our 3 over there is going to be our a, the plus 11 is going to be our b, And in fact, I see a mistake that we've made there. But this last term over here, which needs to be negative 1694, that is going to be our C value. Okay, let's go ahead and do our substitutions. So we'll say minus the 11 plus minus square root. 11 squared is 121, minus 4. A is 3 and C is negative 1694. Okay, and all of this needs to divide by 2 times 3. All right, so let's take a second and let's go put all of that into our calculator. So and we get one of our values, or at least, is going to be negative 77 divided by 3. Right, so this is one of our n values. The other n value, so let's just go back to our formula, back, to change that to a minus. Other n value is 22. All right, so let's just talk about these things quickly. So we have these two values, and obviously both of these values aren't valid, right? So this one over here, that cannot be our n value. We are dealing with place values, and because we're dealing with place values, we can't have one, a negative, which our value is. Two, we can't have a fraction. So this value needs to be discarded. We don't want that one, and only the n equals 22 is going to be our solution.